What's up, YouTube? Happy Tuesday. It has been a while. Wow. Why is this doing the thing that it's doing? Let me stretch that out. All right. We're here. Welcome. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Tuesday. If you guys can hear me and everything sounds good with the audio, or if you can't hear me or things sound crappy, let me know in the chat. I am not wearing headphones. I'm trying to keep the desk as clean as possible because I actually have a top-down view. Not the greatest top-down view, but it's a top-down view. So, that being said, hopefully everyone is having an amazing Tuesday. I apologize for not putting a video out earlier today. I figured if I'm doing a live stream, it may mess up the analytics to try to put out a published video and a live stream all on the same day. And I really wanted to share this moment with you guys. And so here we are. So that being said, if you are here, you're most likely here to see a live unboxing of the Sigma FP. For those that don't know, catch everyone up. If you are new to the channel or if you haven't watched one of the streams, basically my main camera is a Pocket 4K. I had a GH5, sold the GH5, actually bought another Pocket 4K, but in the turn of events, I realized I don't want two of the same camera. I don't run an actual studio that I need to have two of the same camera on hand, but I wanted something in a similar color space. And if you know anything about the FP, you can basically put it into a Blackmagic color space, and it's an exciting little camera. So I returned the Pocket 4K, the second one, and talked to Sigma, and I was like, hey, can I buy a Sigma FP? And they were like, yeah, let's do it. They were going to send me one to test, and I was like, you know what? I just want to buy it. It seems kind of cool. So that's where we are. That's what we're catching everybody up on. So if you're coming in here after the fact of the stream, this was a live stream. After YouTube processes everything, I'm going to put timestamps in the timeline below. So if you just want to skip to not hear me rambling and catching everyone up and all of that, there's gonna be a timestamp. Skip straight to that for the unboxing. So with that being said, I am going to switch my view over to a top down. So let's do it. I apologize. This top down view comes to you from a GoPro Hero 4. Yes, I said that right. GoPro Hero 4. I was going to use a phone. That didn't work. So GoPro all the way. That being said, today is brought to you by Voodoo Ranger IPA. This is very much a relax and stream. Cheers. All right. So that being said, main event. Sigma FP. Now, I was going to try to prove to you that I haven't opened this yet by getting rid of all the shrink wrap and everything. Well, turns out there is no shrink wrap. So this is what we got. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm trying to not knock my microphone while I do this. Wow, that was surprisingly very hard to say. Okay. So per usual, you've got ownership information, warranty stickers, all that good stuff. So for anyone that is interested, you probably steal my serial number or something since I showed that. Whatever. So we have two sides. I'm going to venture to say that this side is the camera. I've seen a couple unboxing. I think this side is the camera. So I'm going to make you guys wait. We're going to go with the accessories first. I'm going to put this over here. All right, so this smaller box, we've got a couple of things in it. Looks like here we've got a USB to USB-C cable. Do you guys want me to take all the wrapping out or just tell you what's in here? If you want the wrapping, let me know in the chat. We'll make it happen. But otherwise, USB to USB-C. We've got some pegs or kind of like screws for a strap. So the Sigma FP is very modular. So they don't actually even come with mounts for straps. And so this is what they come with. It's basically a 1/4 inch thread, and then you can put on either side of the camera to put a strap in. Sounds weird, but okay. You have a charger. So we got a charger, charging unit there, charging block. Not much to that. I assume this is... Should have mic'd the actual like opening so I can have like ASMR. So this is cool. Sigma FP comes with a unit that gives you basically a hot shoe that mounts to the side. I think most people think right now that it's going to hopefully turn into a way to put in like an EVF, because you don't have an EVF with the FP. But currently you have, this goes into the side of the camera, the prongs here, and you can put in anything in the hot shoe there that requires a hot shoe. It also has a stability kind of mount for, I think that's the HDMI, because it does have, I think it's micro HDMI. So this is dope. Comes with it. It's very sturdy. This is indicating how sturdy and robust the actual FP is. I'm pretty excited about this. So we've got the side mount there. Obligatory camera strap. Never use that. And of course the battery. Now this is one downside to the FP, is the battery is a proprietary battery. I think there's a couple of brands online that do that have made a version of this, but for the most part it's a Sigma proprietary battery. I've heard it gets pretty decent battery life, maybe a couple hours, but that's what you got there. All right, so that's the first box. I don't know if you guys are ready for this part yet. No, I think you're ready. Okay. Well, actually, we got a couple things in here. Let's see what we got in here. Looks like here is Anson proof. Oh my goodness. All right, so yeah, we just got more manuals, info, not the important stuff. Every time I do an unboxing, I get done and I have to clean up afterwards, and that's the worst part. It's definitely the worst. Okay. I'm going to put this bigger box aside because this is what everybody came to see. If I can get to it. There we go. All right. Are you ready? Are you ready? I say that. There's probably still like shrink wrap and stuff. Oh. Let me tell you what. While I'm making you wait, this is the reason why I'm getting this camera, is because this is super tiny, so I don't have crappy quality overhead stuff like this. But here's the FP. The thing is so freaking tiny. Just so you can see it from the Blackmagic standpoint, this is the FP close to my face, so you can see the size there. But dang, that thing is small. Quippy was asking, will be using it more as an A cam or B cam? Right now, this is gonna be my B cam, because so in a couple weeks I'm gonna be doing a full-on review. That was the kind of the whole thing that started this. Is I've been talking with Sigma for, God, it has to be like 6 months now of trying to get me to test this, and so there will be a review coming of the camera and why I specifically picked it up. But B cam, because right now it does Cinema DNG in RAW, and that's, if you don't want 8-bit, which is, I've heard, not a great 8-bit, and it doesn't offer a log profile, you basically have to do RAW, and it's RAW Cinema DNG. And so if I do that in 4K, I'm gonna have giant files. So honestly, for most projects, this is probably gonna be a 1080p camera only. And the reason I did that, and there's gonna be a whole, I'll probably even go into that video, in that review. one of the biggest reasons I picked up this camera is because I really, really wanted the original pocket camera, but it just had so many limitations as far as some of the technology that was in it. But everything I saw about this camera made me think of the original pocket camera, and I know it's not the same thing at all, but this got me the closest with a lot of the modern specs. Quippy was asking what mount. It is an L mount. So let's open this up. I'm going to make everyone cringe because I'm going to open the sensor with it pointing up. But that is an L mount full frame. And so I'm pretty stoked on it because if you don't know, Sigma, Panasonic, Leica all have the L mount alliance. And so that's Sigma's big drive right now is L mount lenses. And so being able, and I work a lot with Sigma, and I actually have just started to get back up with them to start testing some more lenses. And so being able to test current lenses is really like a benefit. Being able to bring to you guys my thoughts on stuff like the 85 millimeter prime, the art prime that's out from them, the new macro that's out. I requested the 24 to 70 L mount, and so being able to kind of have those on my channel. I do want to make it very clear I'm not switching from being a primarily pocket 4K channel to a FP channel. My goal is to give equal amounts of love to both cameras. And honestly, if anything, I'll probably default back to the pocket. What's up, Pav? It does look sweet. Thank you very much. Pav, you're up super late. If you guys are not aware, Pav SZ is one of my friends. We both have channels, and he put out a video today talking about Sigma lenses. He put out a battle of the macro lenses for the new Sigma macro versus the Sony macro. So to go check out his channel and his video. Quick shout out, Pav. I don't know why I'm looking at the chat when I should be looking at the camera. Quippy, my top down is an XT3 and it works really well with autofocus, so it's easy to track my hand unboxing. Yeah, I feel like don't operate with autofocus anymore. So I've kind of grown accustomed to it. But anyways, if you guys want a quick tour of the FP, I'll give that to you. You'll also probably see it in the actual review. Pav stayed up, especially. Oh, Pav is in the UK. That's why I'm saying he's up super late. So thank you for joining, Pav. But quick tour. You have obviously power switch, the switch between the cine and still, which is one of the coolest features of this camera. It is primarily focused around being a cine camera, like a small compact cine camera, but it does have a stills mode. And that's another thing that helped me pull the trigger on this is I'm not much a photographer, but I do like having stuff that is, if I want family photos, having a decent photo camera, full frame photo camera. And if you watch any reviews of photographers reviewing this camera, a lot of photographers that get their hands on this camera love it because they see that it's very similar. It's like a Leica, and so I've never used a Leica. I don't really have a ton of interest in using Leica, but that's pretty cool. But the cool thing about it is when you switch from cine to still, it does switch all the menus, and so you don't have to. Everyone kind of uses the example of it goes from shutter speed to shutter angle. And so you don't have to worry about those photography-based settings when you're in cine mode because it switches all of that for you. So nice, one of those nice little features that Sigma thought about as they're doing that. Obviously, you have your record button. I have heard that people think that is in a weird place. And so, Fernando, it is indeed full frame. I know, I was thinking about this the other day. I just did a video about is Micro Four Thirds dead, and everybody's doing full frame and talking about it. Honestly, yeah, I have a full frame camera again. That means I gotta pay for full frame lenses. No, I'm actually, my goal for this, for this round of full frame, because I was in full frame before with a Sony. Let me actually find you guys a good view of the camera while I just chat. There we go. But I had a Sony before, a A7 III, and I complained a lot about price and lenses and everything. And so at that point, when I had the A7 III, my goal was finding like budget full frame lenses. My goal for this is to talk about lenses that I can use both on my Pocket 4K and the FP. So the first thing I'm trying is the 18 to 35 and 50 to 100. Even though those are crop sensor lenses, I have seen people being able to adapt them to the FP or L mount cameras and actually be able to use some of those focal lengths. Not necessarily the whole range, but if I can get a included 35 millimeter 1.8 out of the 18 to 35, by all means. And so, no, I am not quitting Micro Four Thirds, Fernando. I am still very much fully in Micro Four Thirds. I actually just picked up a Makey 16 millimeter T2.2. Super stoked about that lens. That's actually what I'm streaming on now. But honestly, if you came in a little bit later, the Pocket 4K is still my A camera. This is my B camera. So I want this camera, and again, I'll probably say this again in the review. I want this camera because this is like the opposite of my Pocket 4K rig. I can take this on trips. I can take this outings with the family, get a couple of cinematic shots, take it back to the studio or take it back to the office and edit it down and all of that. And it's raw. Like this is a full frame, like this tiny body, full frame, raw camera and uncompressed raw. And that's a downside to a lot of people. I'll probably regret saying this. I don't think it's a huge downside. Now you can do compressed versions of raw if you have a Atomos Ninja 5 or Blackmagic's Video Assist. You can do B-RAW or you can do ProRes RAW. But excuse me. That being said, out of the camera, you're doing full cinema DNG. Let me see here. So we've got a couple people in the chat. Micro Four Thirds. I think it's. I think the autofocus is point to focus. Yeah, point to focus. Autofocus. I'm not relying on autofocus on this. I think we're back. I'm not entirely sure. Obligatory. Anyone can see the live feed still. Oh, wow. I've got nothing. Okay. All right. I think we're back. Are we back? I don't know. Yes. Kind of back. I see it. I see it. Okay. We might be in business. We might be. Let me refresh the stream here. Yeah, that was the worst one. It was like just straight up, nope, sorry. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, my live streams, internet, are terrible. It also doesn't help that it's really hot in my studio. I say studio. I'm in a third bedroom in my house. This is my office, but yeah. As long as my audio is, my goal for live streams as always is my audio fine. Video may cut out here and there, but if the audio is fine, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Um, so the internet says we should look at the camera again. So let me go back to the top-down view here. All right, so we've got, for those of you that are just now joining the stream because we, internet, this is the Sigma FP, tiny camera. There is tons of buttons back here. I'm going to go through all of these in my review, but 11 frames per second. I believe it. Okay, I'm gonna take my phone out of the frame. But tons of buttons back here. One thing that's cool, I'll kind of mention this. So if you're in 8-bit, and this is one thing I'm really curious about. If you're in 8-bit, it actually has some color profiles. Yes, it doesn't have log, which sucks. It does have a colorless profile. Let me actually plug in the battery. But it has a built-in teal and orange profile. I was like, you guys know me so well, Sigma. You know me so well. I have watched an absorbent amount of YouTube videos getting hype on this camera. And there is one YouTuber, and I'll link him up. He's only got like 100 or something subscribers. Watch this. Oh, duh, Anson, come on. But he makes some really cool content with the FP, and I'm stoked on it. Let me get through the date format. So that being said, you have the color profiles. I'm not going to set all this stuff up. I may try to do it while I am talking with you guys, but I'm not going to make you watch me set up my settings here. But basically, you have the color profile, so you have a teal and orange. The 8-bit, you don't really want to use, because again, I think it's like 8-bit 420, so it's just not a good 8-bit, and there's no log. And so what little bit you can do with it, it's not great. And so you honestly, if you're getting this camera, you really just want to be shooting raw. And that's the only reason why I was okay with doing it, was because I like shooting raw. So it's fun until I am drowning in or rather like a desert of drive space. And so what is the date today? The 20th, I think. I'm not going to set that up now. So yeah, you have a couple of things in there. I've got it set up. No memory card. Perfect. But here you go. Let me show you. Now that I've got it set up, here's the screen. Another thing that people don't really love about it is there's no articulation in the screen. So there is that. The menus, I've heard, are not the greatest. I will say, so like, see all these things here that, let me try to get that. I don't know how much that will focus on there. But you have like still settings. So if I flip this and I go to menu, you should have now cine settings. And so it will automatically flip some of those things to where you don't have to necessarily worry about that a ton. I've heard that these are not the greatest. Let's be real. I've heard kind of mixed things. I've heard that they're kind of, similar to like Sony settings. I've heard they're better than Sony settings. But it is, honestly, if you've used Sony and you've managed to get through those settings, I think you'll be fine. Eric, what's up, man? I've been saying what you've been commenting this whole time. I haven't actually said hey, so hello. Philip Bloom has good things to say about this cam, which is a lot. He has good things to say about the image. I think he hates the camera. I think he hates the fact that the camera if you really want to use the full benefit of the camera, you have to do raw. I think he hates that. So I think he has some mixed things in there that are, can I help you? Nope. Do you want to come say hi to the stream? No. Okay. Hello. Hi. My wife, everyone. Apparently she left her iPad in here. But he has like mixed things to say about it. Again, loves the image, doesn't really love the functionality and the usability of the camera. And I think that's where it also reminds me again of the original Pocket 4K, where, not the Pocket 4K, but the original Pocket, where everybody that reviewed that camera said that it was a very clunky, very just like meh, like camera as far as usability, but the image was amazing. And that's one reason why I'm still every day on eBay looking for a original Pocket camera at a steal price. I won't go above 500. I try not to go above 400, which is really hard because they're really popular again. So Philip Bloom does like the image. I don't think he likes the functionality of the camera. I've seen, to answer Fernando, I've seen a couple of Philip Bloom's videos on the camera. I think that some people just really don't like this camera because if you're not shooting RAW, and more specifically, again, full cinema DNG RAW, you're really going to be limited in what you can do as far as grading. And so I think that's one thing that people are getting tripped up on. Caleb Pike from DSLR Video Shooters says the same thing. He loves this camera, hates the functionality. As far as not having a log, yes, 8-bit, not in RAW is what it is, but not having a log profile with that is something that has tripped people up. And Sigma has come out, I think they came out and said that Eric, I wish my wife watched my streams. I think she's tried a couple times. My family loves me to death. My nephew is like, I'll watch your videos. I don't have any idea what you're talking about, but it seems entertaining. So I love my wife to death, but yeah, she's not watching the stream. But that being said, like everyone has had mixed feelings on the camera. But that, honestly, if you know that you're getting basically like a full RAW camera, and you're comfortable with that, and you're comfortable with the fact of, the limitations on the build, going back to I don't have my hotkey set up, so I apologize. But going back to lack of articulating screen, no EVF, that it's very much a interesting little camera. You have stuff like no headphone jack, which honestly, that's one reason I see this as a B cam primarily. Because, you can work around that. I have a monitor that has a headphone jack, so if I plug the monitor in there, I can just use that. But it also doesn't have any type, like the Blackmagic. The reason why the Blackmagic's staying my A cam primarily, unless I just need the extra depth of field, is because it does at least have I think it's the mini XLR. And so I can actually put like a legit connection for audio on the Pocket 4K. I can't do that here. So you have just a normal Rode mic connection there. You have a mini or micro HDMI, mini HDMI, and for some reason this is one thing that people thought was weird is the HDMI door just comes out, and I think it's because of the hot shoe connection, but it's weird. And then you have USB-C. So that's another thing people haven't really liked about it is the fact that it's all like micro connections. But at the end of the day, let's be real. I bought this camera to shoot RAW, full frame. That's it. And honestly, that's it. And if it has a good image, that's what I've accomplished. And again, I like the size because ultimately, eventually I want this to be my top-down view, and it's small enough to do that. I actually, I bought a rig for this, but I'm going to try to keep it not rigged up as much as possible because it's so tiny, and that's the part that's appealing about this. I do want to get a hand grip for it. They make like a small hand grip. I might do that, and I might put it on. I might rig it up every once in a while because it doesn't have IBIS. It does have electronic stabilization. But only in 1080, and so there is that. Quippy says, "I hope the footage is easy to edit natively. I'm struggling with clog on my R5, the H265, but love the image from it." I've heard that as well. I mean, was it Matty Habuya is still shooting 1080 on the R5 because it, completely makes his computer struggle. When I do the review, or sometime around the review, probably in the next few weeks, I will say, for anybody that's on the channel as a Micro Four Thirds user, the next few weeks is going to be a little bit more focused around the FP. I do have some lenses I'm going to be testing out for Micro Four Thirds. So after the next few weeks, those will be coming back in rotation, simply because I think Sigma is sending me some lenses to test on this. So I want to make sure. Yep, that happened. I need a better fixture for that. I'm just going to let that go. We're going to pretend like nothing happened. That has happened more than I would like for it to happen, and it scares the crap out of me every time. But I have some lenses for the for L mount that I'm going to be testing out. So I want to make sure I get, and they're going to let me, whenever they send those to me, I'm going to be borrowing them from like 3 weeks. So I want to make sure I get through those. I also hit up at 7 Artisans for a Leica lens, so I will be testing one of those. And so if you're on the channel, and my channel, again, if you're new, is primarily focused around budget camera gear, and so I'm going to be bringing you guys some 7 Artisans lenses for a full frame L mount camera. Well, technically the 7 Artisans is for M mount, and we're adapting it, and so that is something to look forward to as well. Now I have just like a random light sitting back here because it fell. Okay. Internet set falling apart. All a part of a normal Anson & Co. live stream. How are you? Straight up chaos. Straight up chaos every time. So that being said, I'm probably not going to hang on here for too much longer. But I wanted to kind of share this moment with you guys. I actually got this in around like 6 o'clock, and for anybody that knows me in IRL, or as we like to say in real life, POV, Mark, I am super instant gratification, and it took me everything not to open up this camera and start using it right away. And so I wanted to share this moment with you guys, and so I thank you guys for coming by. While we're here, I'll probably stay on for another couple minutes. What are some things that you guys would like to see from this camera? What are some things you guys would like to see as far as, I've been trying to get more into not just do like a lens review or a light review or a mic review as I hit my mic, but dive deeper into things like 1080 versus 4K on the Pocket 4K, or I really want to kind of see like 8-bit versus RAW on the FP. Those pain points that a lot of people run into when they're dealing with the cameras. And so, what are some things you guys would like to see from this camera as far as testing out? You can either, obviously say it in the chat, or if you're watching this afterwards, leave in the comments, or I may even do a poll, in my community post. But I hope you guys are excited. I think this is probably one of the, I've mentioned why I want this camera. It's raw, it's full frame, but I think the thing that just excites me about this camera is it is a sub $2,000 camera that offers full frame, raw cinema DNG, is super modular, something you can put on a cine rig and roll with that. But it's also tiny enough to where I can put it, in tight spots if I'm, doing a more stylistic shot or things like that. But again, I'll probably again say this in the review, sub $2,000. If you're talking about full frame cinema cameras, now I'll get out of the way the fact that yes, this does have some micro connections, so it's not, probably like the same thing as like a full on cinema camera. Even the Pocket 4K, for what it's worth, there's some things that are still considered like an entry level cinema camera. But, if you're talking price point at full frame, I mean, what is the new Zcam F6? I mean, that's like $4,000. You're getting into these cinema cameras that are full frame, and it's just at a good price point. Now, I picked this up at a pretty decent price. I think Sigma's got a sale going on right now, so I picked it at a pretty decent price. So if you can find this used or find it on a really good deal, that makes it even better. And so definitely, I'm excited about this content. Quippy says, photo test. God bless Quippy. You're going to make me do some photos? I'm not a photographer. My photos are going to be very subpar. I need to send this over to Pav, because Pav is an amazing hybrid shooter. He does amazing video and photos, and he send it over to him, let him test it. So I'll see what I can do about the photos. We'll see. I may go out. It's probably all going to be at night because I'm all into night photography and videography, and it's fall and the sun sets at like 2 or something. So there is that. But yeah, definitely look for content coming up about this camera, about some lenses to go with this camera. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping to drop the video for the 7 Artisans lens for this camera this week, this coming Tuesday. So look out for that one. That one is the 7 Artisans 35 f1.4 for like an M mount, which they've also sent me the adapter that will go from M to L. So really pumped on that lens. And I'm also really pumped on that lens just because it looks cool. Like it's got a lot of cool markings, and I know it's dumb. But I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to be able to test out some of their full frame lenses because I've really been into their micro four thirds and crop sensor lenses. So with that being said, Sigma FP, it's here. It's here. I've got a mess I've got to clean up. I've got lights back here I've got to clean up. I'm going to go hang out with my wife that left me to probably watch some Schitt's Creek. It's an amazing show. And I feel weird saying it because I felt like I just cussed on camera. I didn't. It's the name of the show if you're not familiar. Pretty awesome show. I'm going to go watch that. We've been really into that lately. So thank you guys for joining. I'm sorry for the chaos. I'm sorry for the internet. I'm sorry for the lights. I'm sure there's something else that went wrong. There's not a fly in here this time, which is amazing. And so thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for being in the chat and being involved. I'm super stoked you guys are here. I always love to talk to you guys. I feel like it's been forever since you've actually seen my face in this kind of capacity. I'm doing a lot of voiceover videos lately and super into those, but I really miss this interaction that we have. So that being said, you're probably going to get another stream this weekend, probably on Friday. I might have somebody on the stream. We'll see how that goes. So, all right, you guys have a great night. Go and see, I haven't been on camera as much. Go and find your journey. Go embrace life. Stay safe. Be happy. Wash those hands, and I'll see you here next time. Peace. No hotkeys. Oh, this is going to be fun. What's my end? That was a chaotic stream. I'm really sorry. Okay, I have to do that logo again. Here we go. Bye.